How's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms, out here on a Saturday morning. Guys, I did not get out here early enough, I can promise you that. It is late summer, mid-August here in Alabama, and we've been running high 90s. It's touched 100 a couple of times this week with feels like temperatures at 110, 115. It's been tough. If I had to admit that this was my least favorite time of the year, that wouldn't be a far stretch at all. It's hot to the point, guys, you can hear. I've done a little work out here that I'm getting ready to show you, and it's still hard to breathe out here. It is so incredibly hot, but there are things to do. Got fall planting coming up. Still hadn't really decided what I'm gonna do with my big garden. I still want to do some collards and some turnip greens and things like that. Hadn't done those in several years, just simply because I didn't have the time, and I hope that's not the case this year. But I'm up here working in my raised beds, and man, they were a mess. The first two, not so bad. Actually had some carrots still left in there that finally decided to grow, but obviously those wouldn't be any count to eat right now. Simply, they'd be so bitter that I just threw them out in the woods. The deer would get them and share a little bit with them. But one thing that I knew I was going to have to do, you know, I had a good crop of onions this year, a good crop of lettuce this year, and I'm gonna do something very similar here in a few weeks. Not anytime, well, it'll be more than a few weeks. It's so hot and no relief in sight. But I'm prepping these beds for fall, and I've got about halfway through, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have to leave it and come back closer to dark, simply because it's brutal out here. But I'm gonna turn you around and let you see what we got going on here. Now, y'all have seen these raised beds many times, and y'all can see what color the soil is. Now, one thing that I want to say is that it is hard to find raised bed dirt. I live in an area close to an urban center, and we've probably got 4 or 5 different landscape supply companies in town. And believe it or not, this is actually decent for what you can get around here. It's pitiful. It looks good and dark when they scoop it up, but you can see there's a lot of sand. Luckily, not a lot of red clay in this. I have gotten red clay before in some of my raised beds, and it was a nightmare. If you look back at some of my older videos, you saw I had to throw some chunks out of these when I first put them in, but luckily I haven't been able to flip any more up. But heavy in sand, which is good in a way. It lets it drain. It doesn't let water stand there and pool. But another place here in town that I bought some for, we've got some raised beds where I work with some students that we have an ag class there, and that's one of the classes I teach there, middle school ag. And we were donated, well, not donated, we bought it, but got it at a reduced price because it was with the school. And guys, you can't even see the raised beds. They were just put in this past spring. They were good and cleaned out, left for the summer, and I bet the weeds in it are chest high and overflowing. So those kids have got a lot of work to do to get a fall crop in. But to say the least, that business will not be getting any more of our business, either at school or here at home. That was just pitiful. So start off, do some research, ask some people where you can get some good soil from. I mean, obviously the best thing would be is if you have some native soil around that you can have access to, like if somebody has scraped off a place to put a building or something like that, and, you know, get down below where the grass and everything was, and that's going to be your best bet. That's you know, Mother Earth, that's native soil, and it's probably going to work better for you. But most people don't have that option, so just do your research and find some other gardeners in the area that can do that. So what I've done is I've had to come through here and weed all of these. Now, these first two were okay. They didn't take me but about 5 minutes a piece. So you can see there's still a little bit down there at the end that I need to get. This one over here, this last one, I don't know what in the world was happening. It was solid green mat, and it's I can't place the name right now, but it's that grass that you know, it trails, and everywhere it trails, it puts down roots, and it comes up in big long strips. There's a little bit of it right there that I didn't get out. But it is a nightmare. I finally got it cleaned out as best I could by hand, and then I went to the pitchfork, prying up what I could and getting it out of there. So maybe we've gotten it cleaned out. But you can also see that I've added some soil there. And I know some of you that have watched me for a long time are going to say, well, I didn't think you bought compost and soil, and I don't. But you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. With my schedule over the last year, I'm just going to be honest with you, there's not going to be any compost videos anytime in the near future, just simply because I just have not had time. I'm running about 6.5 days a week, just trying to do the things that I have to do to make a living. So it's to say that the compost production has gone down. This will be my first year probably where I don't, not only do I not have any to put out here with my raised beds for fall planting, I'm not going to have any for spring. So in this part of the world, I know in some parts of the US and around, you can buy some good finished compost that you can trust. Not around here. You know, this is old school farming around here. They don't believe in all that newfangled compost and, you know, permaculture type things that I believe in. So not only trying to find products, but find people that believe the way you do. But what I did do is I was at our local big box store, and I was walking through the garden center, and y'all know me, I'm not a fan of Miracle-Gro, and I'm not going to buy regular potting soil. I make it myself. But this was unbelievably on sale. Don't know why. It was a brand new shipment. As a matter of fact, the pallet that I got this off of, I saw it being taken off the truck. So it wasn't like it had sat there at the big box for a year or more. But you can see it's organic. Now what that means when it comes to soil, I don't really know. It says crafted with organic compost to help rejuvenate native soil. So it says it's got natural fertilizer. Guys, I don't know. You know, you can slap the name organic on just about anything you want to. But I do know that if it says organic, it's not supposed to have chemical fertilizers in it, and I try to keep that out of here. I can tell you when I opened the bags, it was a whole different smell than anything I've ever had as far as like regular potting soil that I use for my wife's flowers up in her little pots at the house and stuff. I do use regular potting soil in that, but it had a completely different smell, so I take that as a good sign that it had a compost smell to it. It didn't have that I don't know, old dirt with fertilizer mixed in smell that you smell with regular potting soil. So, and it does say garden soil. It says somewhere on the bag that it's, you know, made for raised beds and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I paid, you know, it was on sale, so it brought it down to the price of basically one of those big bags of the store brand, not the Miracle-Gro, but this, whatever their store brand is. I forget what it's called. But at that price, I went ahead and got, I think it was 6 bags. And so each bed got 2 bags of that. And you can see it's just piled up right now. And next I got to get on the end of that, but it is not going to be right now, I can promise you. I didn't get out here as early as I wanted to. And guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. I must be getting old. Heat has never bothered me, but it is miserable out here. But just a little quick thing. My big garden, as I told you, down there, it's a mess. I got to work on it next and get all my stakes and copper coils and stuff out of that, where I can turn all that mess under. The deer are taking care of a lot of it for me, so I appreciate them for that. And I hate them in the spring, but this fall, without even driving up to where we normally hunt, I'll put a few of them in the freezer right here in my backyard, right down there. So that's a benefit, I guess, of having them. But in the raised beds, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I usually plant spring onions, and I'm not going to do that this year. It's also very hard to find onion and garlic sets in this area for fall planting. They just don't order them. I don't understand. But I had a good turnout of onions, but the problem was they weren't as big as they should be, because I should have planted them in the fall and let them get a good set on them, and then you know, they would have been ready in early spring, and they would have been probably twice the size. So 2 of these beds, probably these last 2 over here, one will probably be completely onions, because like I said, if they're bigger, obviously they're going to produce more. And maybe about 1/3 to 1/2 of this one will be onions, and then garlic. Because, I mean, that's an 8-foot bed, you know, 4 foot wide. There's no way I'm going to eat all that garlic. And I don't have enough people in my family to give that much garlic to. But one thing I am going to do is I'm going to dehydrate a lot of it and make it into organic, natural garlic powder and garlic salt, and I will give those to family and friends, because we do use it a lot in that form, but we're going to try to use it more in the whole form. So that whole bed over there will probably be onions planted in the fall into next spring, let them overwinter. About half this bed in onions, and then over here with garlic. Now I'm always going to do sweet onions. That's what we like, but I'm probably going to put a few sets of red onions in here just for cooking purposes. Now over here, this is going to be our cut and come again little garden. Most of it will be lettuce for fall salads and those kind of things. And believe it or not, I can make this over winter by keeping it covered and just coming when I need to keep the frost and stuff off of it. I can, I've told you before, I can eat salads all the way into January or February. I'm gonna put some radishes in there, a little bit of Swiss chard. I just like the Swiss chard cut up in my salad as well. Maybe a little bit of kale. I haven't done kale in several years. I personally like kale, and I eat it raw. A lot of people say, well, it's too tough to eat raw. Well, no, I cut it when it's young, so it's kind of tender, and then I chop it up real fine and put it in salads and things like that. So it's you know, I won't plant a lot of it because I'm the only one that's going to eat it, but most of that bed will be lettuce, because everybody in the family eats salad, regular salads, a few radishes. I couldn't keep up with the radishes this year. I'm about the only one that eats them. And then, like I said, some kale. So that's what I'm out here doing. Just a little update. Even though the garden's done, the preservation for the summer garden's done, all these beds are done, it never stops, guys. And like I said, this is my least favorite time of the year, not only for the heat and the humidity here in Alabama in late summer, but just because there's not a lot going on. I like to see plants coming out of the ground, but won't be. But I would say I'll probably wait another month. I'm gonna turn this in and let it work in the soil and feed, hopefully, whatever microbes and worms and everything else that are in there. I did put a lot more in this one. You can see how low the dirt is in this one. It's settled a lot more than these other two. I don't really understand that, but I put a lot more in this just to get a little bit more depth. Obviously, my wood that I put in here, when you saw me build these raised beds, I put a lot of branches and limbs and stuff under there. They're obviously already rotting down because they're starting to pack down. So I'll keep having to add to it, which is fine. And you know, there's a huge layer of cardboard on the very bottom that I'm sure is pretty much rotten now. But you know, they're ready. They're almost ready to go. I just got to get them turned in, and I'm excited about putting some things in the ground. So you know, it's one of those things where you keep piddling along, and you know, it's not like I'm trying to find myself something I have to do. This is just the way I live. So you know, and it's got my blood pumping a little bit because I like fall crops. Fall and winter's probably my favorite overall time of year, just because I like cold weather. And that's coming, and to be able to come out here in your own yard and put meat in the freezer right down there, even though I don't have livestock at this time, it's coming before long. But I can get meat right down there at the bottom of the hill, of the natural organic kind that walks on 4 legs, and I can come right out here and cut a salad to go with them. It's a beautiful thing. So guys, I'm gonna leave it right there. We're growing. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're growing. Please tell a friend. Watch my videos. If you can stand listening to me that long, watch them all the way through, and then hit that thumbs up button. Again, I don't know how all that works, but they promise me it does work. And just tell a friend. Let's keep this thing growing. Guys, we love you here at Butler Farms. God bless you. This is James, and we'll be seeing you.